Well, it's Wednesday, folks, and it's 7 p.m., so that could only mean one thing. It's time to talk and get engaged. Let's tell you a little bit about engagement before we get our first guest on here. So engagement is a platform, quite frankly, I started because there's a lot to talk about in the world. We're 1 year into COVID, and we've had time to sit at home and think about things. And I thought, hey, what if I made a platform for people to come on and have a chit-chat about really, frankly, whatever interests me, and I'm not that unique, so I figure if it interests me, it might interest you, so you come along. So I happen to be a wedding officiant, sort of as my 5 to 9 hustle, and I brought on my wedding friends first, sort of as a series. This is the fourth of the series, and the last for this round. And next round will be something entirely different. So you never know what you're going to find when you show up here. You sort of show up to see Uncle Doug and see what he has to say. And maybe you pour yourself a nice little tasty drink, and you come along for the ride, and you might learn something. You might get angry. That's okay. That's allowed. You might be happy. We might put a smile on your face, and that's really what we want to do. So I'm really excited to have a guest today that is sort of our last guest in this series of this. We've had Lisa Lester from To Suit Your Fancy. We had Waylon Grin from Just Grin. We had Sid Kemsley's. We've had all kinds of copies. We've had a great cluster of friends. We've also had Gina from Beautiful Faces by Gina. And we had a great photographer by the name of Cindy June on this broadcast. So today I'm really excited. It's really just going to be two friends talking, two friends from the wedding biz, as we say. And a great person, great energy, great character, and all around really great person. I'd like to introduce to you tonight's friend to talk to is Miss Angie from Willow Ridge Catering. So Angie is phenomenal what she does. Hey, Angie.
Hello. How are you, Doug?
Look at you. Is that Marilyn Monroe's eye looking at me?
That is my mural of Marilyn Monroe, yes.
I love that.
I am a huge Marilyn fan, have been for a long time. When I had my restaurant, Gatsby's in Wallaceburg, she was actually on the wall in the bar, and when I sold, I took her.
Nice.
Sorry, you can't have her. She's coming.
She's mine.
She's in my kitchen now.
Yeah, I love it. So the great thing about I think during COVID, this is completely off script, of course.
Yeah.
But you expect nothing less, right?
No, never ever.
Exactly. The great thing about what we've gone through in the last year, and it's been a year, although I count the 13th as sort of my year, because that was the day I took off from work, and all of this happened.
And started working from home.
Yeah. Yes.
In a little bubble. Yeah.
Exactly, in my bubble. Is that we've taken time to make home, and and when you have something like that on your wall, or you paint your home office, or you start a podcast, or start making bread. Everyone and their brother was making bread, which I finally succumbed to the whole sourdough thing.
It's delicious.
It is delicious. You're right. It's great that you have that, and I think what we've realized, I hope what we realize, is that what we have around us is what's most important.
Yep.
Right. And a lot of people realize that person that they're with is that most important. So maybe it's someone that they've never thought of getting married to, or someone they've always been married to. This is my segue. It's very clever. Completely unscripted. We had a lot of people get engaged.
Yeah, we did. I did.
Yeah. Well, yes. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I know.
Yeah, not expected.
Exactly, right? Because COVID, has sort of made you realize things that's going on in life, and you realize that who you're with is important, and maybe you want to put a ring on that finger, or say I do, or get down on one knee and ask them if they will. Yeah. So, or ask them if they will again. I've been a lot of the I still do weddings, right?
Yes, and those are so much fun.
They are. They're a blast.
They are.
You and I both love weddings. That's something that is innately required required when you work in the wedding industry. You must love weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it shows, it shows in what you do, and I hope it shows in what I do.
Always.
And, you go out there and you make a fantastic memory. And, when we sit down and eat with our friends, right?
Yeah.
Or break bread, as they say, it's your bread they're breaking. So that's really important. So
Just want to make everybody smile. And our biggest thing with Willow Ridge, our biggest thing is family is very important. And we are a family. Like, we truly are. We take care of one another. We help one another. And that makes things a lot easier when it comes to a bride and groom coming in. And I just look at them and say, what would you like? Yeah. It's not what I have. This is the basic. I can start you with something as simple as a roast beef dinner. But at the end of the day, you don't have to have a roast beef dinner. If you want me to make you sushi, I might question the sushi, because there is a reason that there are people that have trained in making sushi. I didn't.
Right.
And it takes way too long to make it, and it's way too no. Anything but sushi. That is my biggest thing. I will do anything for you that you would like done or you would like to see. Everything comes at a price. However, every budget is workable. So if there's something unique that you want, then yeah. A perfect example we have is there was a wedding that I had done at one point in time, and he wanted a palate cleanser in between meals. It was extremely important for him. This is not something that is done traditionally anymore. A palate cleanser is not something that is passed around. We've grown past that in our society, and it's not a step that we take. However, in his world and in his life, he loved food that much that he knew the difference between his pasta course and his main course. He wanted that in there. So it was like, sure, that's no problem. 250 palate cleansers. I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it all essentially comes down to, what do you want for your day to make your day special and stand out?
And that's important. And sometimes, so I counsel, like you do, a lot of brides and grooms, because I'm also a wedding planner.
Yes.
So in counseling, actually, one of my kids during his preparation for wedding, it's typically, and I'm going to get probably some calls on this, it's what the bride wants.
Typically.
So
I will say, there are a lot of men standing up and a lot of girls sitting back going, he can plan it. It is hilarious. It's like, wow, it's almost getting up to an even kilter there. I was like, usually the guys don't take offense, man. Please don't take offense. And ladies, please don't take offense. Usually it's the guys like, I'm just going to show up that day. Whatever she wants, make her happy.
Yep, exactly.
But I am seeing a lot more of the men standing up saying, no, I want this. Mm-hmm. And we have this. And it's like, yeah. I want a poutine bar. Is that allowed? I'm like, yes, I will make you a poutine bar. Okay.
One of my sons wanted a nacho bar for the after, like, the 11 o'clock party portion.
Yep.
A nacho bar you shall have.
Exactly. It's easy.
It's easy to do. Just tell us what you want. We'll make it happen. So.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the catering business? And you probably have a long lineage
so catering. So I became a chef back in the day, many years ago. I'm going to work up my age now. So I've been cooking 30 years.
Wow.
The whole reason I became a chef was, in all honesty, my brother, Michael. A lot of people might know my brother, and a lot of people don't realize that he is my brother. Michael with Brownies Catering, he does barbecue, and that he has amazing ribs. But he was actually a chef at the Sky Dome, and I was 16 years old, and I went down and I seen him, and he was doing all of these crazy, amazing things, and I was like, oh my God, that looks like a blast! Like, you get to make that, you get to create. I want to do that. So I started with that, and I went to Fanshawe, got my certificate, went to Germany, and I lived in Germany for a year and did my apprenticeship program. That was a big trip, especially, and I look back at it now when I was like 21, and I was thinking, oh, okay, this is a big deal. And now I look at some of our youth and I'm thinking, oh my God, that was a really big deal. That was like a really, really big deal that I left and went to another country at the age of 21 by myself and didn't know how to speak the language. I figured it out, but sign language. Sign language is key.
Are you telling me you could make me spätzle?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh.
Jägerschnitzel.
Oh.
Even better.
Angie, you just moved up, girl.
I know, eh? It's
Mhm.
easy.
Mhm.
So from there, I came home. I worked in London for a bit. I moved back to Chatham, Kent because I was born in Ottawa, but raised in Blenheim, Ontario. Love Blenheim.
Shout out to
I love the community. I love Chatham, Kent. Chatham, Kent is one of those communities. I lived in Wallaceburg for a time. I had a restaurant there. And my God, the community spirit around here is second to none.
Yeah.
I've never seen a community rally together to help one another like I have in Chatham, Kent. So I now know I will not leave Chatham, Kent to work in another restaurant of any point.
Perfect. We heard it here first.
I will be here for a while. But I ended up over in Blenheim, 7 years ago, I believe now. 6, 7 years ago is when we started at Willow Ridge. Prior to that, I had my own catering company and my own restaurant, and it's a lot of work. It's an awful lot of work, and I have a very young family, so I was like, okay, I think maybe it's time for a little bit of a change, and I had the opportunity, so I took it, and I jumped, and I've been with the Willow Ridge family ever since, and they are phenomenal. I have phenomenal ownership. The two gentlemen that own our golf course are right there. Any second you need them, anything you need from them, no problems. They will always come through for you, hand over fist. They'll show up and wash dishes for us if we need them to. So,
Wow.
yeah, we have a very good team.
Awesome. As it should be, right?
As it should be.
Yeah.
That's the way it works, and it makes everybody's life so much better.
Yeah. So you know I'm a foodie as well.
Oh, heck yeah, I know you're a foodie.
Yeah. So do you have a particular food genre that you like?
You know what? I like fusion.
Mm.
I really like taking something like your Jaeger schnitzel and turning it into a cross between that and like a parm. You have to be able to fuse different flavors together because there are so many flavors around the world that are unbelievable. But you take that flair from Japanese and you stick it in with your Thai, and those flavors just blend so well together, and they give you something that is so unexpected.
Right.
And so I guess that would be my biggest thing. That, and you're gonna laugh at me. I love our pub at the golf course. I absolutely adore our pub, and I love our pub because I can take fine dining and I can twist it and put it onto a burger. And people are like, "You can do that with a burger? Oh, you can make a burger in anything." Like,
Oh yeah.
I like that. I like the creative value to it.
So I love your spin on Asian nachos.
Yes.
I brought a table of 10 out there when we were allowed to go in the patio.
Yeah.
We ordered it for the entire table, and you guys sold out that night on Asian nachos. They were phenomenal.
Yep.
So delicious. There's such a great umami to it.
Yep.
I just absolutely love it. So
And so simple. Simple, clean ingredients. So simple. You would laugh if I ever told you, and I'm not telling you on the air because I don't need all the rest of
we'll
the
talk.
world to know this. But I might tell you, it might take a few more of these to get into me for me to actually get it all out. But yeah, it was funny you mentioned the Asian nachos the other day on Facebook, our media, and you probably know him, Kerry Templeman.
Yep.
He does a lot of our Facebook media, social media for us and whatnot. And he put up a post the other day asking what does the general public think our number one seller is. You got an idea, Doug?
Asian nachos.
Oh yeah, number one. Hands over fist. Yeah. So anybody who actually guessed the Asian nachos, we gave them an individual order of Asian nachos with their next one. You should have been paying attention.
I should have been paying attention. I was busy prepping for this interview.
You probably.
Yeah, I was really expecting that you'd have food delivered to me.
I should have.
I
should have.
Be, noshing down on these things because
No, because then all you'd be doing is eating.
Yeah, well, I could talk with my mouth full. Not pretty, but I can do it.
Not pretty. You can do anything. I've seen you do anything. You can do anything amazingly, but you can do it.
I learned from a great mentor years ago. Shout out to Pat Alton. I worked with Pat Alton at Alton Photography. My first love, of course, was photography. I was in business and arts program, and I worked for Pat Alton for years. And anything that anyone asked her to do, Pat said, "I can do that," and then she'd go learn. This is before Google. This is before YouTube.
Yeah.
So Pat Alton, and she knows this story. I've said it a million times to a million entrepreneurs. I come from the school of Pat Alton. So
That's
Whatever it
awesome.
is, she would smile and she'd say, "I can do it," and then she'd learn how to do it, and she'd conquer it. So, yeah, and
You have to be willing. You're going to learn every day for the rest of your life. If you stop learning,
yeah,
why bother? But you'll learn something. And it's one of the things I teach my children on a regular basis. I'll pick them up from school. What'd you learn from today? Nothing. Okay, then we're gonna have to go home and do something.
yeah, you gotta learn something.
What do you mean? Oh, you got to learn something every day.
Mhm.
So now they get in the car and they actually tell me what they learned.
Yeah, because
Actually, it was actually it was a good experiment.
it's good to learn. It's good
It
to
is.
keep the mind going.
Well, how long have you been an officiant for now?
I've been an officiant for, I think I'm going on 4 years.
So?
I've asked a million times. Have you ever considered being an officiant? And I couldn't actually because of a conflict of interest in what I used to do. And then, oddly enough, they always say that one door opens, another door closes. I didn't realize that the door was closing, and I had become a certified officiant at this just before I sold my practice. And now I went back to school again. And don't laugh at me, because I know you probably will. I'm actually now a celebrant, and my when I get mail sent to me and it says Reverend Ronald Robbins, I just sort of giggle.
I love you, and good for you. Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, Reverend. Yeah.
So can I call you Reverend from now on?
You can. Some of my friends call me Pastor Potty Mouth instead, though.
Awesome. I'm in.
Yeah.
Pastor.
Yeah. So
That's
a lot of people
awesome.
call me Pastor Potty Mouth. So shout out to Gina down the road who coined that phrase. But yeah. So I constantly learning. I decided I wanted to go back and get to the next level as a celebrant, and was ordained in the fall of last year.
That's awesome.
But weddings are, I'm unique and I really love weddings. I get the goosebumps just before when everything starts, right?
I cry.
Do you cry? I've cried a couple.
If you ever notice anytime you come to any of the weddings that we do, and people laugh at me for this, my staff laughs at me all the time. All the time they laugh at me. I cry when the bride walks down the aisle, and I cry when the mom and dad give the speeches.
Yeah.
So when they're doing all of their speeches, I made at the golf course, I made them put a speaker in the kitchen so that we can hear, so that we know that when things are starting to happen, everybody in the kitchen gets quiet, right? I have to leave the upstairs kitchen and go downstairs. Because if I can hear, I start crying. I cry. I'm crying because I'm like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so happy for all of them. They're so happy, and I get so teary, and I'm like, oh, okay, Angie, you gotta leave. Yeah.
We're the same. We're cut from the same cloth. I try not to cry.
Well, it's not good for you to cry up there. No. You're not loud.
But it has happened. I did a wedding where I used to do before COVID, pre-COVID, or PC as you know, I guess. I did a wedding where we would do what was called a ring warming. So I would ask the bride and groom, and they never know this is going to happen. It happens for small weddings, especially when I feel somewhat close to you. I knew this bride quite well. I knew her mom quite well. I knew her dad had passed away the year previous, and her mom was very near and dear to her. So I asked for the rings. I always ask for the rings. And I pulled a ribbon out of my inside pocket, and I tied both rings together with a ribbon, and I asked for people to pass the ring around and warm it with their fingers, or kiss it, or hold it, or put the love into the ring, because it's metal.
Yeah.
So when it got to the mom, and she started holding it, and she looked at me, and I just
done.
I was done.
Done.
So, and it meant so much to that couple because everyone put a little bit of love into that, but it was that last one, the mom, before it came back to me, before it went on her finger, that really meant the most, because her mom was saying, your dad wishes he was here, and we love you, and it was just, so I got goosebumps just talking about it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm starting to tear up, and I put makeup on for this, Doug. Stop it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, we both love weddings, and that makes a big difference. I, unlike you, I do look at the bride. I'm looking at the groom because I want to. If he hasn't seen her on a first look, I want to see his look. I want to see his face.
They're
I want to
amazing.
see the lips start to jitter. Right?
Yep.
So, but I have a unique vantage point up front
Yep.
of the bride and groom. So yeah, it's weddings are definitely unique. So anyway, we've got some great photos I want to share of work you've done. So
Definitely.
Willow Ridge out in Blenheim is a great location. In golf courses, a lot of grooms play golf, and a lot of I'm sure you probably get a ton of wedding day groom parties out there for a round of golf, right?
Yep. The only request we ever get is please make sure they're sober.
And that's
I'm like, I'll try, but I can't go with them to play the 18 holes. No guarantees from Angie on that, but I'll try.
Reverend Ron tells them to, you can't be drunk.
Exactly. We know this rule.
Yeah, you have a couple for sure, but I mean, like, you can't slur. You're making a promise here. Come on, it's a vow. So, I mean, I'll probably have a couple.
I don't know if it's legal if you're trashed either.
It is. It actually is. It's a loophole.
It's a loophole.
It is.
It is not a good loophole. Don't tell people that.
Loophole. Let's not close it. No. Shh. But yeah, I mean, a couple of dirty vodka martinis before they were anybody.
Gets the jitters out.
Well, yeah. I mean, smooth up the edges, and you have to be coherent. You have to understand what's going on. You have to know the promise you're about to make. So, but golf courses are a great spot for the pre-wedding outing for the guys. But it's also great for couples to have photos. So here's some great photos that I just love. So this is gorgeous.
Yes.
So they've had their service obviously out on the green.
Yep.
You can tell by the arbor and the flowers, but it's a beautiful setting for a couple to be in. So do you want to talk about it a little bit?
So coming out to the golf course, any place you want to go, if you're booking your wedding with us, you can come out and go out onto the golf course anywhere you'd like and have your pictures done. We're not particular on anything in that respect. It's not an extra charge or anything to that. We actually set you up with some limo golf carts, and a couple of little limo drivers are usually our back shop guys, and they're delightful. They'll take you out there. The only thing that we ask is if you're going to get married on our golf course, our golfers are very, very conscious that you're getting married. So we have number 1 tee on one side and number 10 on the other side. If I have golfers coming up to them, they'll wait until you guys say I do it. And then from there, they're going to start taking off. So you right to the room. When you're going up on the golf course, just be aware they gave you that respect when they stuff loaded and focused at the moment. These guys need to be very aware of where they are because they really want to tee you off with the golf ball as you have getting done. So be cautious. And all of everybody there take you and show you where the best spots for. We usually encourage our vertical. They are so secure so that they can pick where they want to go. Yeah. We'll set them up with a cart, send them out. You find where your light is. I'm not a photographer. I can take horrible pictures. So for that, I can't tell you, but I can give you the opportunity to go and find the perfect spot for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another great shot. Because,
yes.
You've got the great green area, the trails and the paths. It's gorgeous for professional photographs to be taken. So
yeah, we're very, very blessed. We're very lucky. Mm-hmm. I have the Jeff and Dan that work outside on our grounds every day in, day out, spring, summer, and fall. They take great pride in what they do, and it shows. Our course is immaculate. It is beautiful.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. One of my favorite. This is my last photo of the grounds with couples with wedding party. Is this one here?
No, yes. Actually, you know what? That was the very first wedding we did at the golf course.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, the very first one that we did once it became Willow Ridge. Yep.
Oh, nice.
And that couple actually just had a baby.
Congratulations.
A baby girl, I believe. Baby girl. Yep. Like 3 days ago or so. Not long. A week, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so cute. Yeah, that one is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Took a few shots, but it was a lot of fun.
If people wanted to have, let's say that you couldn't host their wedding because you're booked, because let's face it, you're a very popular destination for weddings.
Yep.
So there's two other options they would have. Either
Oh, there's a million other options. We do off-site caterings anywhere.
Sure.
Actually, one of my very favorite weddings that we ever did was the Stewarts. And it was down on this back road beside a little creek. It was very intimate. It was very small. It was one of the most fun weddings I ever did. We did charcuterie boards to start, and then they did salads. They actually had, I did it in conjunction with another gentleman, the gentleman that owns the fish and chip truck, the Brit.
Oh yeah.
Or the Friendly Beast, or
yeah, it was the Friendly Beast, and then it was the
Brit. All I can see is the English well. Very, very nice man. Very, very nice man. Awesome fish and chips.
Yeah,
so they wanted little itty bitty fish and chips with it. So we did all these cold salads and things like that. And it was underneath the tent, and they had chandeliers hanging from the trees. And it was such a beautiful wedding and such a beautiful group of people. It wasn't very big. It was actually, it was PC friendly. Or no, we weren't. Yeah, it was pre-COVID, but it was like 60 people, so they fit into that mesh of the number that we're allotted to have. They had all kinds of space. They were spaced out. They had rugs, they had furniture, old retro styled furniture laid out in these underneath the trees and twinkle lights. It was beautiful. They did such a beautiful job. It was by far the most creative one that we were able to do. And they just gave pretty much free rein and just said, this is what we're looking for. Can you help us? And it was everything, and that was the other one. I did picnic baskets for them.
Oh, that's cool.
So little picnic baskets, individual picnic baskets for each couple, and it had we had jam preserves in it. We had different chutneys in it. There was cheese in it. There was different pieces like meats and crackers and breads and baguettes and olives and all kinds of fun stuff inside this little thing. And then chocolates. They had chocolates brought in that we stuck into the baskets. So every couple bought a picnic basket to take with them, that they could go anywhere on these grounds, that they had all these rugs and pillows and everything that they could sit down and, oh, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful wedding.
It would work now for COVID because, of course, there's different food requirements and restrictions.
Everything was individually packed. Yeah. It was a bit of a work, but it was good. It was fun.
So, yeah. So, speaking of cheese and meats,
no, there's one
beautiful arranged presentation of cheese ready to go, and you guys do a ton of food.
We do lots.
Phenomenal job of
Thank
food.
You.
There's your crew, one of your crew members.
That is my partner in crime. That's Lori Laprise. She came to us within the first year of us opening up, and she's godsend. She's worked with me for 5 years now. We're through thick and thin. That was actually for one of our owners' birthdays, and we did this giant charcuterie board down the middle of the room. Lori has had catering experience. Between the two of us, we have over 50 years, so that has to tell you something.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal. She's such an excellent support system for me. She helps with absolutely everything we do. She has so many great creative ideas. We really have an excellent team in the respect that come to us and ask us a question for something you would like, and I guarantee you, with the respect to sushi, only off the table. Everything else we can take care of for you.
So tell me about your team.
Well, you just seen Lori Laprise. She started with us 5 years ago. We have also just acquired, he joined our team last season, mid-season, Kyle Wagner. He's from the Lexington, actually. He came from Toronto, moved back down to this area. He has a creative means about him that is unreal. He's very, very in love with the banquet style of meals. He loves doing the banquets and the weddings. He likes to have that open creation, which is a huge compliment to us because that is something that Lori and I both strive for. Our groundskeepers, I was talking about them earlier, Jeff and Danny, they take care of our grounds, make everything immaculate. And then there's also Chris and Scotty in the pro shop. And they also will come out and drive the limo carts for us. They will make sure that we get everybody parked. Because a lot of the times people are going to park in our front parking lot. Wedding's way out back. We'll have these little limo carts circling the parking lot, picking you up, taking you out back so you don't have to make that walk. We are very, very blessed in the fact that I have a very talented crew. I have everybody from the person that starts in the morning, that opens the clubhouse up, to the guy that locks it up at the end of the night. They are all willing to help anybody and do whatever it is that we need to do in order to make your stay or visit with us a memorable.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many weddings can you do in a day? Like you could feasibly, you could have a wedding on the green somewhere. You could have a wedding in the building.
You didn't want to ask me that question, because I can tell you right now. One of our cooks that she's worked for me she worked for me at my other restaurant, Lisa. She's done caterings with me and things like that. And Lisa's first instincts with me is she really doesn't like it when I start answering the phone later in the season, because I don't say no. And with me not saying no, that sometimes puts a little bit of stress on some of the team, because I have done the most we've ever done in one day is 4, which isn't too bad depending on what the 4 are. And I'm always very wise about how it is. So if one's like 60 people and it's very straight-laced, no problem, we just drop it off over here. Okay, yeah, we're going to do that one. And then we get the other one for, like you said, outside in the tent, and then we have one upstairs in the banquet hall, and then we might have one out at the rustic ranch or possibly at the tent that I might be sending people to. We have a huge staff when it comes to that manner, and they all buckle up and jump in, and that's the days the owners show up and they're driving the trucks and unloading the dishes for me and looking at me going, "You do this?" And yeah, we did it. Ideally, normally speaking, we usually don't go too high. Usually I do 2 in a day. I try not to go further than that, because what if something happens? What if somebody gets sick? What if we get a flat tire? There's no backup for that, right? So for the most part, it's usually 1 in-house and 1 off-site. With COVID, we've been doing a lot of the little micro weddings because that's what's been allowed. We were very blessed. Our ownership was very conscious about everything that was going on, so we postponed. Anybody who wanted to postpone for COVID, by all means. Anybody who wanted to get married and then just say, "Hey, can we have a party with you later?" No problem, we'll do that for you too. So we've had a lot of things like that have gone through, and we've been very blessed and very lucky. So, and I am very blessed and lucky to have the crew that we do have, because they pull together and they push through, and it's impeccable. It's remarkable. You can watch these people come up with and how they can push through and get everything done. They're a great team.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So, I've made this comment before to other wedding professionals, and I've said it on one of their broadcasts as well. We run the risk of having what I call a wedding tsunami, because
yes,
cancellations have been moved and then again, and then they all want to get married because they've been engaged now for 2 years, and then you have all of the ones that got engaged during COVID and they want to get married now too. So there's this tsunami that I've coined the phrase, and I tell everyone, just be patient with your vendors, because they're going to do whatever they can to help you, but there's only so much they can.
Limitations. You only have so many days in a year.
I can show up and do 5 weddings in a day, but I don't have to make the food, present the food, clean up the food, and
provide the space.
So there's a lot of restrictions.
There's a lot of that. We've been really lucky with all of our brides. Most of our brides that we've had last year was really, 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 really stressful right now. This time of year last year, if you asked anybody what I was doing, I was sprouting gray hairs constant, because I was pulling my hair out, because if you're sitting at the golf course and I'm watching the screen and they're saying that they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and I'm like, what do I do with all these brides? I don't want to call these brides and tell these brides I can't do this. Like, I've never told somebody I can't do something.
The word "can't" is not in your vocabulary.
No, it's not there. So instead of me saying I can't, I started sending out emails to my brides saying, maybe we should come up with a plan B. So most all of my brides were very, very jumped right on it. Give me plan B, give me alternative dates, things like that. And then we progressed through that, and things didn't get any better. So then I was sending out, maybe we should come up with plan C. So we've done plan C, and now I'm emailing my brides, because because I'm in the same boat. And when we look at things for this year, it's not looking horrid by any means. And so many different venues have a grasp on how to do something and keep within your limits that we can do this. So you do have to, on your bride side, make alterations in respect to your invite list and maybe per se on how you would like something to fall out just because of what we have to do now. However, it is still doable. Or now I'm saying, do you have plan B? Because some people still want that 200-person wedding, and I can't guarantee when I can do that. Like, as of right now, I can't. What I can do in October, I don't know. And unfortunately, until the government gives us that kind of clearance, we have to go by what public health tells us and what we already know and just move that all forward through. And with any luck, it'll all come through. I can see it. It's getting better. I know that. People are seeing it get better. People are starting to realize, okay, these smaller weddings, these weddings of 50 people indoors or even just the 100-person outs, they're so much more intimate and they're so much more special because of the fact that it's done specifically for you on this date during the pandemic, because there's a million things we can't do, but you can't stop a person. If they want to get married, let them get married. Let them have their moment, let them have their time, let them make it special. But make it special for them because it's their moment for the rest of their life. And who wants to put it on hold for 2 years or 4 years? Some people can, and some people are complete. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not planning a wedding. For myself, nope, not planning one. Once all of this settles down and things are normal and people have found what their new normal might be, then I might look at it. But at the same time, I'm looking at all these brides that want these special things, and I'm saying, okay, I will do everything in my power to make that special day happen for you. Because that's what's important that day. It's not, you want to be surrounded by people you love, and these little intimate weddings that they're putting together are coming out with such a huge bang and having such a good rapport, and it's really bringing us back to the roots of what's important versus how much or how many we get. There are people that have massive families. Those are the ones. My sister got recently engaged. Actually, she got engaged in 2019. I was supposed to do her wedding last year. We moved it. And then she called me the other day and she's like, Angie, I can't. And she goes, even if we were doing it, she goes, that's just our families. She goes, that's none of our friends. That's none of, she goes, and that doesn't even include all of our families because our families are bigger than that. So for those, I understand, and that's frustrating for them in itself, but there'll be an alternative. Something will come up and something will work out, and it'll all be beautiful.
We'll have COVID in the rearview mirror, and we'll get back to having big weddings and
huge parties,
and hugging people.
I miss hugs.
Me too.
I'm a hugger. I am.
I know.
And you can ask pretty much any bride I've ever had come through. Yeah, I am a hugging person. I am that person, and I do miss that. The other thing I missed just recently, so we just recently started doing some interviews at the golf course for extra staff that we need to bring in for the season. I miss shaking somebody's hand.
Yeah. The elbow doesn't work.
The elbow doesn't work. The fist bump, yeah, okay, but that's not very professional. It's like you greet somebody when you bring them in for an interview, and it's like, and then to finish your interview, you're like, thanks, have a good day. Really can't shake their hands. It's just weird. Those things are just weird.
Yeah. I want to show a little more of your food. This is probably from the same party.
Oh yes, that was the birthday party.
So that's a good birthday party.
Oh, it was massive. I was so excited to build that. Lori and I we had the time of our lives building that.
And people maybe not realize that you guys cater out as well.
We cater all over the place. So we do the luncheon caterings. We do wedding caterings. I do birthday parties. We do cooking classes in people's homes. It's endless. All you have to do is ask. If you ask, and I can, we'll do it. If I can't, I'll probably come up with an alternative that'll fit into what you need.
You catered a wedding that I was at for a cousin of mine in North Bucks in a barn.
Yes.
It was phenomenal.
Yes.
You not only did you cater, but you also brought a bar, which
Yep. Yeah.
and it was great. I mean, because it was all right there, and away you go. It was phenomenal.
That was Rebecca's wedding. And yeah, they are such a sweet couple. Oh my, she just had a baby too. A year.
Yes. Yep.
About a year. Yeah, that was a big wedding. That was really big. It was a huge wedding, and it was so much fun. And actually, one of the owners that night were slugging dishes for me, but we had a wedding that night out there, and then we also had one at the golf course that night. So that was one of my double days. But they were a blast out there. That was beautiful. Didn't you? You weren't the officiant for that one, right? No. Which one were you the officiant for?
Out in Pancourt.
In Pancourt. Yeah. That's right. And that one was on a farm, wasn't it?
Farm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that one too. I remember walking in and seeing you going, I know that man. I like him.
What is he doing at the front?
Why is he up there? Oh my goodness, he's not. And then I was like, you didn't. And you were like, yes. I'm like, oh, yeah. Reverend Potty Mouth. Or Pastor Potty Mouth.
Pastor Potty Mouth.
Pastor Potty Mouth.
So we'll also do some sweets.
Yes.
Love a good cannoli.
Who doesn't?
I strive to find a good cannoli.
It is difficult. Yeah. That is difficult. Baking is not my forte. I will not lie to you. Kyle, our new chef that we brought in house, he is very good at it. Myself, I can bake. I prefer the savory side of things. I'm not a big sweet girl. I like red wine and red meat.
Girl.
So, you don't have to bring me a box of chocolates, bring me a half a cow, and I'm happy.
Prime rib and a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Good. So, the venue you guys have, though, is gorgeous. You guys decorate to the nines. I'm only going to show this one here because we're going to get on to some other topics. But, beautiful spot. When I talk to couples about their wedding, and I impart, I hope, some wisdom on them. I tell them a couple of things that are important. We're going to talk about some other important things, but chair covers, like that's really important. Mm-hmm. You want to realize that under that chair is a basic, metal frame and vinyl seat.
If you're lucky, it's vinyl.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I love our chair covers.
Chair covers are very important, and then if you can
extremely important
dress it up with a little accent, it's even better.
Yep. Our room, we are very blessed. Our room is very, very elegant. Since the ownership came in and they took it over from the Glen Golf Course, they did quite a bit to bring it up to date, to modernize it. But it is very simple, and the view from all of the windows in there, because they go all the way around the room, you really don't need an excessive amount to decorate. We do carry a basic strain of decorations, just minimal. However, Lisa Lester, I recommend her hands down tenfold. She's amazing at what she does. And she's come in multiple times and has helped us out and set things up or has decorated it out. And the whole time she does that, it's like, oh my God, look at what she's done. Like, stunning.
Tirelessly to make sure that everything is just perfect.
Always.
Gorgeous. So the other thing that's really important for me, I think, is, when you have a service that you have it properly amplified. So you have, a PA system so they can hear you. If you're out getting married on the green, you need to have a PA system, whether if you need to have a generator that's stashed out in the woods.
Back green behind.
Long extension cord. People need to hear it. They're there to hear the vows. That's really important.
Yep.
And to have really good music is really important to walk down the aisle. That's always a prerequisite. Even if it's just a small wedding on your front porch, it's still very important. But if you have, a lot of people want a live band.
Beautiful.
And these guys, there's a lot of great bands in Chatham-Kent. We have a lot of phenomenal talent.
Oh, heck yeah.
These guys, the Southwind Boys.
Oh, they're such a nice group of young men. Oh, they're so sweet.
They're very sweet, and they come in and they do a great job. They play some great tunes, and they get you out shaking your booty on the dance floor, and
They do
that's
that.
what's important because you want to after you have, especially if you're in the wedding party or if you're close to the wedding party, like moms and dads and aunts and uncles that are involved. After the speeches are done, which typically are too long, note to self people, right? They keep it light, keep it fun, get to the point, right?
Short and sweet.
Short
Short and sweet.
And then they
Blow
want
your love in 3 minutes.
they want to blow off some steam. So you need a good band to make that happen. But before all of that can happen, you need to have the actual wedding itself, right?
Yep.
So that's where wedding officiants like myself come into play, and here to help you make that wedding memorable and make it important and make it legal. I can't tell you how many times I've had to go and do a wedding in someone's front porch or in the living room because they had an officiant that wasn't licensed to do a wedding.
How do you get an unlicensed officiant? Never mind. I don't want to know.
Yeah, you don't want to know. It happens. Trust me.
I don't want to know.
It happens. I always recommend check the Service Ontario Who Can Marry Me registry and find their name. But
I can't believe somebody would scam that. Okay, sorry. We'll
talk later. And when I get that recipe for the Asian nachos, we'll talk.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So weddings are very important. They happen anywhere, and they've always happened anywhere. Only 5% of weddings happen in church now. So whether it's in someone's backyard, like this.
Yeah. Beautiful.
This is out in Dresden, or out past Dresden, along the Sydney.
Oh,
Beautiful spot. These guys did a great job with the wedding. They had details galore. They hired a great caterer to come in. They had a decorator come down. They had all of the nuances of a great wedding. Great setup. It was beautiful. Or if you're having it in a hall, this is shout out to the Kent. Great spot for a wedding.
Oh yes, Mike over there is awesome.
Mike is great. Yeah. So great location for wedding. Or again, in someone's backyard.
Look at your smile. You're so cute.
I'm always smiling. I'm a pretty happy guy for the most part, unless I'm not. So, a great spot for they came to me. They said, "Well, this is where we want to get married." It was a pie-shaped property with a ridge, and I'm like, okay, let's make this happen. Like they put up decorations. We fanned out the chairs so that we could use the landscape the best we could, and made it really special. They had really great two girls that I played at some weddings that I've been at. They played instrumental, keyboard and violin, and it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Or this, a lot of barns. I do a lot of barn.
Rustic Ranch.
Rustic Ranch. Shout out to the team there. The great spot. They do a great job out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great setting. It's always very, very nice and very quaint for weddings.
Definitely.
But you can get. There's so many places you can get married in Chatham Kent. It's crazy.
I've done a wedding in a bean field. Okay. You don't have to tell me. I've done a wedding in a bean field, and I've also done another wedding that was on a little boat that went up and down the St. Clair River. There's 70 people on this boat. One of the groomsmen, thank God, when the boat turned, grabbed my server by the back of her butt so she didn't go overboard. We can do a wedding anywhere.
Anywhere.
I suggest, though, the next time I do the one on the boat that I put life preservers on my servers because, it was a little sketchy for a little bit. But, anywhere.
There's a lot of traditional venues here in Chatham Kent. Of course, this is Rob and Courtney Tobin, who got married at Retro Suites.
Nice. They have beautiful suites.
These two lovebirds are run buddies of mine who came to me and said, "Have you ever considered officiating weddings?" And I said, I've been asked that a lot of times. And they said, it'd be great if you could MC our wedding, but it'd be even better if you could do our wedding. And that's the couple that
would be awesome.
That got me into becoming an officiant. So
that's awesome.
Shout out to the Tobins. Or also at Retro Suites, they have different looks with the graffiti wall.
They have such amazing artistic abilities there. It is unreal.
And Retro Suites, they have a great team to do it.
Definitely.
And we always try to do something different because I don't know if you know, I'm not necessarily a traditional person.
No, really? I did not notice this.
It's true. It's true. Tell your friends. So
I am. I'm talking to you now.
So I do quite often things like, I call this the wine box. In this case, it's actually Crown Royal, where they have a box at the front of the service. After they're married, they have brought down letters they wrote to each other privately. We put the letters in the box. I tell everyone this is their time vault, or their box they crack open when they have some difficult times. Then they go read the letters.
That is
open
an
the wine
awesome idea, Doug.
Yeah, I actually call it the juice box, between you and I. Don't tell anybody, because there was a time when I used to buy wine in a box, and I used to call it a juice box.
And this is
Hey,
in
5
the
servings of fruit every day.
perfect. No comment. No
But I
comment.
also love doing the non-traditional, because that's sort of me. This wedding here had a pinky swear, and this was out at
I
Links
love
of
her
Kent.
dress.
I know, it was on Canada Day, and she wanted to wear a red dress, and I said, "Go for it."
Oh, I love it.
Talking, I got to know them, and they pinky swear was a big part of who they are, and I mean there was a kiss, but there was a pinky swear. So
That's a big thing. It's a big thing when you find what it is that couple connects through. If you make that connection with them for that day, it's there forever, and that's a big special part of it.
it is. And couples want to end the night with a sweet treat. So our friends at C'est La Suite sent us over some images of some beautiful cakes, right? Zane is her name. We call her Z. She does some phenomenal cakes.
I think she's brought me a cake
She brought you a cake?
to one of our weddings.
Okay, good.
Not me.
In the background. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I love the wedding cakes. Love them. I love them even more when the people that make the wedding cakes, these beautiful wedding cakes, explain to me exactly how it is I'm supposed to cut it.
Yeah,
And
right.
nicely. Because I have a lot of people that want me to cut it in front of them, and I'm like,
No, take that in the back room and do it. No.
you think?
Yeah. Take it in the back.
I'm gonna start cutting it, and then it's gonna fall over, and I'm gonna cry in front of all these people.
This picture of cutting the cake, and then if you want to keep the topper for the anniversary, yep, and then whisk it off to the back room, slice and dice, put it on plates, and bring it out pretty. That's how it's done.
Exactly.
Don't ask me to cut that in front of you.
Oh my gosh, look at
That's
that.
gorgeous. And
Oh,
people, note, if you are having flowers on your cake, you have to make sure the flowers are properly corked or sealed so they don't make people ill.
really?
Yeah. Not all flowers are edible. FYI. Isn't that gorgeous?
I love it.
So
That's gorgeous. That is outstanding.
She does a phenomenal job.
The detail is beautiful.
And a lot of people, will do like a smaller cake now that means a lot to them. They'll have cupcakes or pinafores or what have you guys, which makes it a lot easier for staff to just get a cupcake and go. But yeah, so weddings are a blast. They really are.
They truly are.
Chatham has a lot of very talented wedding professionals amongst Chatham kids. So, and
100%.
So keep doing what you do. You do a phenomenal job.
You as well.
Your team in the back, they're great at what they do. And anyone that's watched this series over the last 4 weeks, you've got to know some professionals out there that can help you with your weddings.
Definitely. There are a lot. And you know what? If you ask any one of us, I'll speak for myself. If it's something that I can't do for you or I can't schedule you in, it just won't fit in our schedule, especially coming through this, because we're going through now, and my brides from 2020 that are into 2021, and my 2021 brides are going into 2022, and some of my 2020 are going into 2022. If I can't do it, and I think I'm going to talk for pretty much any of us in this professional field, we're going to help you find somebody that can. We're gonna introduce you to somebody that we would recommend, because if you trust enough to come to me, then I'm not going to send you to somebody that I don't trust enough to send you to, because if I can't, because somebody else is booked in on that date, or you can't get your photographer, or you can't get, because I know it's been very, very trying for everybody. We're all going to help one another.
Yep.
We always have.
Yeah. So excellent, Angie. As always, it's great to talk to you. I look forward to getting the recipe for the Asian nachos. Thank you very much.
No problem. I will help you out with
I
that.
still come up with nothing for you, because even though I can cook, the
I
always
like
tastes better coming from you.
Oh, I love you that much.
I love you too. So next weekend, or next Wednesday, I'm actually going to take the Wednesday off because it's St. Patrick's Day and I'm 17% Irish. Unless there's a leprechaun, someone with a pot of gold that wants to do a talk with me next week, get a hold of me.
I'm not bringing a pot of gold, but you could call me a leprechaun. I'm short enough some days. And I drink like one, so we're good.
You will do it again next week.
Perfect.
And after that, we're going to talk about women, about phenomenal females.
There are a lot.
A couple of local phenomenal females, and then we're going to talk about some men's health as well. So basically, whatever tickles my fancy is what we talk about.
I love it.
So thank
I
you
hope
again,
you have me back, my friend.
Great to see you.
You as well.
And we'll talk again soon.
Cheers. Bye, Dad.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.